Welcome back to the West Ham Network. You have just witnessed West Ham draw 2-2 against Arsenal at home at the London Stadium. Nobody expected that. I didn't expect that. Pundits didn't expect that. I think the only people really that expected that was probably David Moyes and the West Ham team. It didn't start off well, but we fought back. We showed that we can do something. We showed that we do have a little bit of fight. We absolutely, and that's the only thing we have asked for this season. Where's that performance been? Where has that been this season? Why is it taking us this long to turn up and show us what we could do in the second half? Because the pressure was on us. The pressure has been on us all season, and nobody. And that's the thing. That's what you can't. When we don't expect it, I'm kind of lost for words a little bit, to be honest. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to expect. I don't know how we compute this whole situation, to be honest, because it's like running a marathon. That was like running a marathon today. It really, really was. And I'm buzzing. I'm excited. A draw. Do you know what that does? Do you know where that puts us in the league? That gives us 4 points of a difference. That's a good situation to be in going into the next game. That's what we want to be. That's where we need to be. Obviously, we want the 6 points, but that game people would have called a free pass for Arsenal, and we've not. We've gained something from it. We've gained a point from a game that people would necessarily call a free pass, and that's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for. Obviously, it didn't start off well. I get that. I don't know what it is. I don't know why we do what we do. We soak up the pressure, very quickly realize we can't do that against the likes of Arsenal. Maybe you do that against the likes of Fulham. Maybe you do that against the likes of Ghent. But you can't do that against the likes of Arsenal. We got punished for it in the first 10 minutes. We absolutely did. We took our eye off the ball. Our heads dropped, and it looked like the players didn't really want to be there, because at that point, I think everyone really thought in the stadium that we were going to give away goal after goal, and it was going to be a cricket score. Put your hands up and admit that, because that's what I thought. I thought, no way we're going to get something from this game. I was shocked. I was surprised that we even turned up and done something at the end of the day. But some players on this part today can hold their head up high. I genuinely think some of the players did. I think Tommy Souček turned up today. I really do. People may disagree with me. It's up to you if you want to disagree with me. But I genuinely think Tommy Souček did turn up today. He done a job. He didn't let them get in on the ball when he didn't need it. I think we learned a lesson very quickly from the first 10 minutes. And do you know what? We soaked up that pressure maybe for about another further 10, 15 minutes. But to get that goal back before halftime was vital for West Ham. It was vital. It was huge, because you can't let Arsenal go in a 2-0 lead. And then coming into the second half, oh my word, man. What do you sit there and you think, God, we've given away a penalty with the backs against the walls. Like, how are we going to get out of this situation? At that point, you're thinking to yourself, they're going to go on, score this goal, and that's when we're going to break down, and nothing is going to get through the situation. But we proven today that we do have some fight, and that is all we ask for as West Ham fans. The next few games become huge, because if results go right for us and we can break away from that bottom three with only a few games to go, it's huge. Nobody expected that point. Nobody. And that's all I can say. I'm going to be joined by people coming live from the London Stadium. I will bring up some comments though. Where's that been all season from Michael Blees? Yeah, mate, it's huge, man. It's huge. It's a huge point. And we nearly snatched it. We nearly snatched it in the end, because Antonio hit the post. It was so close in the end for us not to actually walk away with 3 points. Huge point for us. Do you know what we can ask for now? Man United to do us a favour and beat Nottingham Forest in the game coming up. But I think certain players turned up today. Lucas Paqueta, he had a very good game again for West Ham today. What a point from Toby Sampson. Absolutely, mate. Could have been all three. It could have a snatch and grab. To be honest, it wasn't just a snatch and grab, because I thought we actually did do reasonably well. Buffalo, Snowy saying well deserved. Dave is saying well played West Ham. It absolutely is. Michael Blees says 2 points dropped. Who would have said that before the game? Absolutely. You count down, this honestly feels like a 0.1 instead of 2 lost. Never experienced that feeling like right now. Amazing performance. It was really good. Do you know what? It was a solid team performance. They had to turn up, and they had to frustrate Arsenal, and at certain points they did have to do it. But I thought certain players stepped up when we really needed them to step up today. I thought, you know what, on the point of Kira, I thought initially he had a bit of a shaky start. I think everyone had a shaky start, but he grew into the game. We needed him to grow into that game today, and I thought he actually had a very good performance. He read the ball really well. That's a performance that's only going to do him, a player like him, the world of good, and it certainly did. He played the full game. He had 2 clearances. He got 1 assist as well, 2 interceptions, 1 tackle. He won 50% of his ground duels. He only lost possession 4 times. He had 30 touches, 81% pass completion rate, 1 key pass, created 1 big chance, and was successful in 100% of his dribbles attempted in this game from a back position, which is fantastic from him. Artel saying, so we can play football. You can say that again, mate. We can play football. Andrew says, come on, you Irons. What a point. It's a huge point. Please, let's not take that away from the situation. This is a huge point in the West Ham calendar this year when everything was going against us. Nobody expected us to turn up and get anything from this game, and that is what makes this one special. It does. This is a sort of game, and I'm trying my best to. I think it's because I tell you what, when you do these reviews, right, it becomes tough because you've got raw emotion there. You've got raw emotion kicking in, and you are trying to take all the positives. There was obviously some negatives. We started off really slow, but we are playing a team like Arsenal who can get at the opposition, who can put the pressure on, who can cause teams lots and lots and lots of concerns. And get a lot on the ball as well. That's the other thing. They can get possession and keep possession and frustrate the opposition. I mean, let's take a look at all of the possession. Are you ready for this? 72% possession to Arsenal to West Ham's 28%. They had 11 shots to West Ham's 16. So we did try and test the keeper. They had 5 on target to West Ham's 3. We had 7 block shots. They had 2 block shots. We had 7 corner kicks. You can see we did put the pressure on them at certain points in the game. Passes, though, something I said was in the first half, after the first 10 minutes, we were absorbing so much pressure that I felt like they were going to have, by the end of the first half, something like 600 passes. They actually, I think I said by the end of the game, it'd be 600 passes. They actually had 597. That's how close they were. They tried to play the ball off the field and play it around West Ham, but we stood up to them at every single occasion. West Ham had played the ball 222 times in that game, but certain players, like I said, stood up and be accounted for today. Are you ready for this one? Vladimir Coufal played the full game, 5 clearances, 1 interception. He won 50% of his ground duels, 50% of his aerial duels. He did lose possession 15 times. He was fouled once. He had 60% accurate passes. He had 3 key passes. He was 100% with all of his crosses today. He was 30% with his long ball accuracy today as well. So another very good performance from him in a West Ham shirt. Declan Rice, Tommy Soucek. Let's have a look at Tommy Soucek's stats of the game. Full 90 minutes, 21 touches in the game. But I think what's key about Tommy Soucek's performance today was he blocked 2 shots. He won 50% of his aerial duels. He only lost the ball 5 times, albeit touched the ball 21 times. He had 1 clearance, he had 1 block shot, he had 2 interceptions. So as much as he wasn't really effective going forward, he tapped the ball. He became a little bit of a nuisance in the middle of the park. But what I think having him in the middle of the park did was allowed this can show you, right? This can show you how maybe moving forward we can utilize Tommy Soucek, Declan Rice, and Paqueta. It might not be the trio that you want because you don't necessarily want Soucek, but dropping him into that deep lying role, allowing Paqueta to be a little bit more free flowing, really played dividends for a player like Paqueta today, because I thought Paqueta had a very good game in a West Ham shirt. 41 touches, 2 key passes in the game. He was successful in 100% of his dribbles attempted. He won 50% of his ground duels, 100% of his aerial duels. He only lost possession 11 times, considering he's a forward-thinking player. He made 1 tackle with and just was really effective in the game today. Let me jump through the rest of the comments. Alan Dunn, brilliant by the players. Moyes actually got one right for a change, I must admit. Proud of the fight today. Didn't roll over. Well done, West Ham. And it does show you, listen, everyone knows it's so tight down there. Everyone knows it's so tight down there. But essentially, what we need to do is turn up on the day and do a job. And that is what we've done. We've done something against something when no one remotely expected us to do it. I'm flabbergasted. That's why I'm struggling to talk. I'm struggling to get my opinion across. And and do that. But it's raw, and that's what maybe sometimes you need as well. We're so much better when we attack and don't try to be too cautious. Hopefully, Moyes learned a lesson. You're right. You're right. And the thing is, essentially, maybe going down 2 goals in the first 10 minutes maybe was a blessing in disguise. Maybe it was the outcome we necessarily needed, because that look what it did. It catapulted us to move forward and try to get some goals back. Obviously, we won the penalty, and Jared Bowen's chance, and you know, that's going to be good for his confidence as well, especially now. Do you know what? We're unbeaten in 2. In actual, unbeaten. Is that? Yeah, we're unbeaten in 2. After the Fulham win, and then against Arsenal, a much better performance. The first time now in 5 games I can be reasonably proud of a West Ham performance. It's the first time in 5 games or 6 games that I would look forward to watching West Ham on Match of the Day and thinking, right, you've actually done something with a performance. Do you know what? I can probably agree with that as well. Absolutely, Dave. Kira, probably the best game in a West Ham shirt for us, 100%. If we play the way we did from the penalty on against Ghent, we win an aggregate 5-1. Do you know what? Russ has said that as well. If West Ham turn up on the day and go for an attacking format and put the pressure on, we can beat anyone on our day. We can. It's just when we soak up the... I don't know why we do this, to be honest. I really don't know why we do it. I know it's like guns against the wall, and it's like backs against the wall and invite the pressure, and then we'll snatch a win like we did against Fulham. But when you show from that penalty onwards what we're capable of doing, we can do a job. We can do a job, and that's what the fans want to see, and that's what West Ham want to see as well. Not a bad player out there for us after the first 28 minutes. You're right, mate. You're right, Toby. When I saw 2 down after 10 minutes, start fitting a severe Newcastle flashback, and thank we didn't roll over. You're right, mate. You're right. Damon's Logs, thank you, West Ham, for helping Man City in the title race. Arsenal for life, PL champions 2023. Thanks for costing us the league. Gavin, I thought 4-0. I'll be honest with you, Gavin, mate. After the first 10 minutes, I thought that was going to be like ridiculous. I thought that was going to be a ridiculous scoreline, but we fought back and showed what we were capable of doing. Saka shouldn't even take high pressure penalties again. I mean, listen, that's something else we forgot. They won a penalty and they missed it. They put it wide. Saka put it wide. That was their opportunity to go for the 3 points. And to be honest, I felt like West Ham would have kept bouncing back at that moment, but we nearly nipped it. Remember, we nearly nicked it at the end. Onwards, West Ham. That's what we need. We needed a performance like that. That lifts the fan base. That lifts your opinion. That lifts your momentum going forward. The fans were the difference when they were up for it. So are the team. You are right, mate. You could hear that electric sound in the stadium. You could hear that electric sound. I felt it, like sitting here. I felt it watching the game. It was like there, and it was just unbelievable. Alan Dunn, I think every player did us proud today, Anton. For me, Antonio was man of the match. His best game for a long time. Do you know what? I haven't even mentioned Antonio, but I tell you what, hands down, he was fantastic today. He really, really was. He was asked to play up top himself. He had a little bit of support from the guys in Benrahma and Bowen, but he essentially held up the play really well. He fed the ball through. I'll give you the stats for the game. He had 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target. He was successful in 50% of his dribble attempts. He hit the woodwork once in a big chance that he did miss. He had 30 touches. He was accurate with 73% of his passes. He's accurate with 75% of his crosses attempted. He won 50% of his ground drills, 50% of his aerial drills. He lost possession 10 times as well. He made 1 interception, but he did a job when people did not expect it, and that is huge. Absolutely huge for West Ham. It's unbelievable. Damon's Vlog says, well done. Toby Sampson says, Antonio should have done better with that header, but who cares? He was vintage Antonio. He was. And it shows you what we can do. He was causing problems down the wings. That was the other thing as well. He was causing shitloads of problems down the wings, and they couldn't cope with it. He did it a little bit against Newcastle, and he did it against Arsenal today, and they were struggling with dealing and coping with him down the left and the right-hand side when he did go down there as well. Arsenal evaluation of Rice went from 80 million to 100 plus million. Who do you think is going to win the title now? Don't care, if I'm being really honest with you, Damon, as long as we stay up in the league. What will Rice think after that result from Jay? Party fit quite nicely into Decker's pocket. You are right, mate. Pick that one out of the pocket. John says Kira started off badly, but to his credit, just got better and better, and one of his best games. I completely concur with you there. I thought Kira was a bit shaky at the start, but again, I think every West Ham player was shaky at the start, considering we went down 2 goals within the first 10 minutes, but he did come out of that game really highly. Had a laugh Arsenal crying about how long it took Antonio to get off the pitch. I know, but who cares, man? I mean, he's done a good job. He was my man of the match. I think Antonio is going to be my man of the match. Saka miss was crucial. Exactly. But do you know what? Antonio miss. How unlucky was that with it hitting the bar? Cresswell, what a guy. Toby Sampson. Do you know what? Players are just turning, like, you don't expect it. I mean, Cresswell just came back into the team. People were pissed off with his inclusion. But at the start of this game, if you rewind back to us talking about it on the Matchday Live, like, me and Tommy were totally despondent about what the team news was going to be. Team came out and they gave us something the complete opposite to what we genuinely expected. Bedfordshire Hammer says, perhaps DM, watch the Villa DVD from yesterday. Artel says, come on, you irons. Michael Blease says, beast mode Antonio is always a problem for centre-backs and full-backs. Right, I'm going to bring Russ in live from the London Stadium. Rusty B, mate, talk to me.
Where the fuck did that come from? Where the fuck did that come from? What did we say in the Matchday morning show? We said, if that West Ham side turn up, if that once a season, for no reason, they turn up, and you just saw about Antonio, best game I've seen him play for about 18 months. He was what we've been crying out for all bloody season. Is that beast mode? As we were saying, I think we were saying on with our show on, whenever it was, Thursday, whatever, and we were saying, you know, we want that Antonio who's going to knock defenders away, and that's what we had today. I thought he was brilliant today. I thought he was exceptional.
I thought with that, you can see why he has got the potential to be really effective down the left and the right, because he causes defensive problems down there. And in actual fact, it's no nonsense when he gets the ball. He just drives forward. He's got the speed. He's got the.
Hello, mate. How are you? All right, you all right?
There you go, Russ. On you go. You got someone coming on? No. All right. Okay.
No. No.
He's got the kind of beast mode mentality when he's down the wings. You know, he's not going to do trickery. He's just going to take the ball forward. And I think at several points in the game, Russ, he gained the ball from our defensive area and travelled 60 to 70 yards up the field. He brought us from defence through to striker and gave us a chance to challenge. Russ, take me back to the first 10 minutes, mate.
Yeah. Well, I think we come out of the traps well. The crowd were up for it. And we came out of the traps, I thought, quite well to start off with. And then 6 minutes in, they score. And we thought, I think, to be fair, probably their first attack, in all honesty. And then the crowd was still with them. And then the second goal went in. Everyone was like, oh, Christ, this is like Newcastle all over again. And for about another 20 minutes, I'd say, they were all over us. And you're thinking, if they'd scored a third, it would have been game over. So, but we came back and got the penalty. Obviously, Ben Rama did well with that. And, you know, that last 15 minutes, you really want the half to end. Because, again, we were very soon as that Newcastle game, we were sort of out on top for that early. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, I'm going to bring you back to the first half for a second, because I'm like, what's going through the mindset of the West Ham players? That, you know, obviously you could hear the despondent fans, people were getting pissed off. You know, we're sitting there, we're actually genuinely thinking this is going to be a cricket score. Yeah. You can't see how we're going to get out of this. The heads drop from the players. You could see that. You could start to hear a couple of boos ring around the stadium.
Yeah.
What was the switch, mate? What was the switch?
Do you know, I generally don't know. I think it was actually a Soufal tackle. Who again I thought was fantastic today. It was one of those sort of back in the day, back in the sort of the 90s, when Julian Dix would do one of these tackles and he would orchestrate the crowd. It was a couple of tackles that came in, I think, and Soufal particularly. And the fans just seemed to just respond to that. There was booing, definitely, after that. I think it was, you know, Kira on the ball. There was no real options, and everyone was booing because there was no impetus, there's no going forward. But once that first, and to be honest, I don't really know. I think it was that Soufal little sort of flurry down the right-hand side. And Bowen, I mean, I thought that right-hand side all game was brilliant. Well, Bowen and Soufal played fantastic. Gave them a real a real sort of dodgy spell for Tierney for sure. And we just got out of the gates. It's like they sort of just woke us up.
Yeah,
and then for that last 15 minutes, we were all over them.
Yeah, I think we've got to give. I mean, there's a few players that haven't really been on form this season, but one player I want to give a big, massive shout out to is Jarrod Bowen. I thought his tracking back ability today was huge for West Ham. He came back, he kept dropping back, he kept winning that ball, he kept playing in a bit of possession. Do you know what we were better at today? You know, initially in the first 10 minutes, I think I noticed that we kept losing the first and the second ball. Arsenal were always first in that. Then we started slowly but surely. Like you said, we were winning tackles. We were being a bit hard on the tackles, putting the pressure on them. And essentially, what it looks like when it comes to Arsenal is that they struggle when the ball's in the mix.
Yeah. And
as soon as you put that ball into the mix, they panic.
But they've always been like that. Since the Invincibles, the best way to get on Arsenal is to put some crunching tackles in. Maybe leave a foot in. Maybe, and throw it into the mixer a little bit more. And they looked rattled. They really looked rattled. I think they were quite happy for that first half to finish. You can see towards the end they were dropping. They were taking the knee. They were just trying to eke out the time and get back in at half time, 2-1 up.
Yeah.
But I think we were just, and I tell you who needs a shout out. Fucking Aaron Cresswell. Honestly, I forgot Saka was playing until about 85 minutes in.
You're right, mate. You're right.
Fair play.
Russ, I'm going to start losing you, mate. I'm starting to lose you.
Fair play.
Russ, I think I've lost Russ. Russ, come back on if you can, but you might need to stay still. And wait till you see if he comes back on. Okay, but yeah, again, another player that we can stand out and hold his head held high when people don't expect it. Like I said, is a player, Aaron Cresswell. I thought, like Russ said, Saka, England international. You didn't really know he was playing in that second half. He didn't know he was playing in that second half, but there was a consistency in West Ham's approach. There was a togetherness. You could see that togetherness as well, and that was key. Let me see if I can bring Russ back in. Russ, no, I think we've lost him again. See if he comes back in a second. Let's see what else is everyone else saying. Michael Blaze, beast mode. Antonio's always a problem for centre backs and full backs. Toby Sampson's been Rama, absolute wizard. Anthony Morgan, I'm so happy. I hoped and prayed for a draw, but thought we were going to lose. Also, we stopped Arsenal winning all the London derbies. That was typical West Ham wonder. Come on, you irons. Toby Sampson, Paqueta, cold as ice. Paqueta was phenomenal. When he gets that opportunity, he is not scared of getting stuck in at all. Signal's gone, still loads of people here. Hopefully Russell will try and jump back on if he can. But he does have no problems getting stuck in at all. Vlad, man of the match, in my opinion, from Harry. Toby Sampson, Sufal, absolute assassin. Feels like a win in a strange way. But do you know what, Bedfordshire? It's right that we feel like that, because probably more so because we didn't expect it. And when you don't expect, honestly, most fans expected West Ham to get smashed, me included. I was trying my best to jump into that 5% of positivity that I had, but nobody expected that. Nobody expected that. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you the opportunity to come in yourself, if anyone is watching, to come in and have your 5 minutes of say. Why not? Just come in and have your 5 minutes of say on the game, because I feel like we should enjoy it. Feels like a flashback of 2 seasons ago. Yeah, it could be. Arsenal fans are asking for Arteta to be fired. Jesus, not surely not. Mark R, hey everyone, come on, your hands, great result. Yippee ki yay. Match of day 2 will be good tonight for once, and it makes a change, mate. It makes a change. Jimmy Floyd says Arsenal should have lost. Yeah, I think if you think about the way that they took the game to West Ham in the first 10-15 minutes, they lost that momentum because West Ham started working as a unit together as well. I put the link in if you want to come on and join us. Gary, we play the rest of the season like that. There's no chance we're going down. Yeah, I agree with you, Antonio. And the whole panel say it shouldn't have been a penalty. It probably shouldn't have, but essentially it doesn't matter now because they missed it. So that's the main thing for us moving forwards. Let me just have a look here to answer the next question. West Ham's next Premier League game is next Sunday against Bournemouth. next Sunday against Bournemouth. How huge does that become for West Ham? Let me just see if I can get the Premier League table up for us and we can have a little look and see where everything is. Remember, we do have a game in hand, and that game in hand is against Manchester City, which people won't like to hear. But if we turn up and do a job like that we can turn up and do something. I don't doubt that whatsoever. Right, let me see if I can get this table up for you. Let me see. I'm just going to bring it up for you now. We can have a little look at it. Present, share screen, window, that one there. And this is the current Premier League table for West Ham and the situation. So West Ham are currently in 15th place with 31 points. Remember, we do have a game in hand on Everton and on Bournemouth. We play Bournemouth next. Nottingham Forest are currently about to play Manchester United as well. So we need to keep them down the mix. We need to hope Man United can get ourselves through it. So fingers crossed we can. I'm going to bring Mr. Milesy on. Milesy, mate, talk to me. How you doing, mate?
Mate, I don't know what all the fuss is about.
Go on.
I knew. I said we was going to get a draw. I've been saying it for the last 2 days. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah. Do you think it's because it's such a pressured game? It's because when we expect, because let's not take it away, most West Ham fans expected an absolute cricket score, and after the first 10 minutes, even I was like, "Oh shit!" But are they the sort of games that West Ham come back and show us what we're capable of doing?
I think that was the best team performance probably in 18 months in the Premier League. Yeah. I really do. I was very impressed with Soufal again today.
Yeah,
very impressed with me.
Massive.
Do you know what? When I saw Tierney starting for them, I was like, that's an advantage for Arsenal. Because if Zinchenko played, Bowen would have had a lot more joy. And fair play to Bowen. He had a lot of joy, but not as much as what I thought he would have. But Paqueta, for me, mate, absolutely outstanding again in the midfield.
Yeah, he's mustard, isn't he? He's absolute mustard. I think that what we've gained from a player like him is when he's given that freedom to be a little bit further forward, he doesn't shy away from his defensive duties as a midfielder. He is not scared of getting his foot or his head or his knee or his chest stuck in. The guy puts his... Do you know what? He is like he's a midfielder, a kind of... puts his body on the line, essentially. Sometimes when he does it, he's not scared at all. And that fight and that determination. He is one player that doesn't look like he gives up at all.
No, 100%. And I honestly would love Downs to be in there. Downs, Paqueta and Rice. Because I think them three like to keep the ball as well, like in other games. But do you know what? Souček gets a lot of stick, but he didn't really do much wrong today either.
Do you know what? I looked at his stats, right, and I actually thought he had... I think he touched the ball 21 times, right? But the difference was he did actually get a hold of the ball, and each touch he had was reasonably effective in the original duty that he was brought in to do. We don't, going forward, Souček's been ineffective, but having 21 touches, of which, say, half of them are effective in breaking up play against a team like Arsenal, that's what you need. And that is what allowed Deckers and potentially Paqueta to do what they needed to do. And I agree with you there, Milesy, 100%. Talk about Soufal, though, earlier on in the season, mate. I remember against Everton, I was down and out with him. I thought, no way, man. Like, this guy, legs are gone, giving the ball away all the time. But he seems to be giving us a little bit of fight and determination on that right-hand side, doesn't he?
Do you know what, mate? He speaks his mind, and I've got a lot of respect for him for doing that. He's come out and... Don't get me wrong, I think a lot of the translation of what he said away on international duty, but going away to international duty has made him do that extra step up as well. And I love that. The way his quotes, what he said, I don't expect to play for a Liverpool or Man City, which is, I love his honesty. He knows he's not up there in the best, but if he could just get that final ball a little bit better, he could be top. I think he's a good player, but he'll be even better than what he is.
Yeah, 100%. Scott's saying Antonio was a winger, not a striker after his performance in Fulham. I'd never played him again. But do you know what? Today was just like old school Antonio, beast mode. And how effective, Milesy? What's your thoughts on? I know everyone talks about him going out in the wing. But see, when he went out in the wing a couple of times today, man, they couldn't cope with him.
Holding had a nightmare, didn't he? And do you know what? You do miss them old school face up. Gabriel enjoyed that as well. Like he enjoyed the battle. But for me, it obviously is out. It's just so frustrating that we just can't play the two together. I would love to see Mbama in for the rest of the season with Antonio. I think that could really, really work. But obviously, I'm not a foot. We're just pundits, aren't we? We're not a manager. But no, Antonio was absolutely world class. And if only I thought the penalty was very harsh. I don't know if you've already spoken about it.
Yeah,
the penalty was very harsh.
Yeah.
But for if I thought that chance was in at the back post. What a ball from Benny to the back post.
And do you know what, Milesy? It's typical of Benny, isn't it? He gets the first attempt and he hits it straight at the defender. And I remember sitting there and going, oh, he's giving the ball away. But he fought back. He fought back and won the ball back and then pinged the ball into the back post. Like you said, what a ball. And at that point, mate, I can't believe we came that close with snatching the 3 points. Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
To be honest, mate, I didn't go. It's not because I thought we'll get smashed. Like there's a few other things. I didn't go today, and I obviously I know you can't get to it. It is so much more stressful watching it on the telly. It is so much more stressful. It like when I saw it going backwards and forwards. But you know what? It's. I think we're safe now. That point has guaranteed our safety. I think, if I'm being perfectly honest.
I get it. I'm a little bit apprehensive on seeing it, committing to it yet. I think Sunday's huge because it's Bournemouth. And if we can open up that gap a bit more, I know there's 3 teams down there that seem to be potentially, in theory, worse off. But I feel like that Bournemouth game for me could confirm that feeling that you've got. I get it. It's huge. It's a huge point. I think it's huge for us moving forward because it's against Arsenal when people don't expect it. And normally, the bigger the team comes, the harder they fall with a typical old school West Ham performance. But we've not been at the races this season at all. We've not been at the races this season at all.
You know what? I think Thursday was an advantage for us. I think us playing so poorly on Thursday has gave them that boost. I think if we won quite comfortably on Thursday, I don't think we would have put that performance in. I think they were frustrated, disappointed, and every single player was hungry today. And I'm going to give Cresswell credit as well. When I saw that lineup, I thought Cresswell against Saka, this is going to only go one way. And I thought Kehrer done well as well. He had a shaky start, and then he embedded in the game. I remember that tackle, what he done on the edge of the box when he just got that foot and we broke away. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, I think people are, you can actually see here, like everyone's buzzing from that result. And it's funny, you know, it's not been a great season for us, but having that draw against Arsenal today can be defining for the season, like you said. And that's given us the confidence and our mindset to think, like, do you know what, we can fight. Because that's all we're looking for, is that little bit of fight, isn't it? The first half was incredible. We saw 2 different teams in claret and blue. Absolutely. People sometimes criticize Pac-Man for giving the ball away, but he's always looking for that killer pass. And he is. And I think that's what we've missed for so long. And I think through time, do you know what, Milesy? I think if we can stay up, right, and I'm confident we can, I think it depends on what happens in the summer. I think we'll see Pac-Man move on. I think not move on from the club. I think he'll move into this.
Yeah. Do you remember Pablo Fornells, mate? It was the same with Pablo. When we first signed him, everyone was like, what a waste of money he was. And look you have to give these players time. And he's got the physique, he's got the intelligence.
His intelligence is through the roof, man. And we need other players in the park. And that's the scary thing. If you get other players in the park who think like that intelligence. We saw a little bit of that connection with Scamacca earlier on in the season. They had the similar intelligence when the balls were getting played through. Talk to me about this guy, though, Kehrer. I mean, I think when a lot of people seen him on the team sheet, I think the concern about the inconsistency at the back line and him going into the centre-back, he's not played centre-back for months, and then suddenly he's catapulted in there. Gerd's missing, Ogbonna's missing, and then it's banging to Kehrer. First 10 minutes looked a little bit shaky, but he grew into the game massively, didn't he?
Do you know what, mate? He's the same. He reminds me of Issa Diop. Issa Diop normally played when there was a player injured, and I'm not saying it. I've not played at a high level, but if someone asked me, I'm left-footed. If someone asked me to play right centre-back, I would struggle. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's gone in and played that position, and I was very surprised that Zuma wasn't there in that position. But everyone saw before the game. I don't know how he plays for PSG. I don't know how he plays for Germany. It must be like a confidence. It's confidence, mate. It is confidence, and I think a lot of the players, they just need their arm around their shoulder, and I think the coaching staff's not doing that. I think it's the team now, and I've got to give the team. You could see when that Bowen goal went in, Ings was in there, everyone, and you could just see the relief. And I think it is the team spirit what's going to get us through this season.
You could see that team. I think this game today, like you said, mate, I've not been able to get to games this season, and it's driving me insane. But you couldn't help but feel that electric vibe around the stadium. You could felt that electric vibe probably sitting in your sitting room. Wherever you're watching the game today, you felt that electric vibe. I felt it in the core of my system. And what you did see was that unified message, I suppose you could say, that West Ham fans have thought maybe it's not been there for such a long time, or have doubted that it's ever been there. And you hear Declan Rice come out week in and week out saying, trust me, like I'm confused as you are, because I see this unified approach to the changing room. And then bang, we don't do that performance on the park. But today, after maybe 30 minutes, 25 minutes in the game, we saw that approach. That gives you the confidence.
Why was Gabriel not even booked for the penalty? I really can't work that out. I thought, if that was anywhere else on the pitch, that would be a card. Why is it not in the area? Sorry, it's mad. And
I get it 100%. Listen, we're gonna come close to an end. Milesy, before I go though, talk to me about Jarrod Bowen today. A top performance from him.
Yeah, he's getting back, and I think he has felt the pressure of playing. Missing out on that World Cup. He's even come out and admitted that it wasn't what he hasn't performed the way he has. But do you know what I love is the way him, Deck, especially, talk about another number one supporter, Future Hammer.
Another Future Hammer here, the third one I've got.
But no, he was outstanding, mate. Outstanding, and this can only help us. He's going to be key on Thursday night as well. And I'm just buzzing for him. I really do love him.
I think what's huge about Jarrod Bowen's performance today is it's not just about what he did going forward, it's about what he did tracking back. And that's huge. And like you said, coming into form at the right time of the season, it's not been ideal for him. It's not been.
That's what he done last season, wasn't it?
Last season as well. And he can show you, he can get in behind, he can cause problems. At one point, I think I think he got the ball a lot, didn't he, down the right hand side, and he started cutting in, and then the crowd were on the side, and you thought, shit, he's going to put it onto his left foot and curl it into the corner again.
But that tackle from Taney when he went clean through, that was a brilliant tackle. I thought that was going in as well. That was outstanding. But no, mate, I thought I'd just come on and say my piece. I'm very happy. First, looking forward to Thursday night. I think game under the lights, like you said, European nights, you can't beat them. And if we get, I just don't want extra time. I just don't want extra time on Thursday.
No, you're right, mate.
What a week it could be. And like I said, my man of the match. Tough. I'm going to give it to Soufal for me. I thought it was outstanding.
Yeah, he definitely was up there. I mean, for me personally, I'm going to give it to. You could have chose a couple of players, but I want to give it to Antonio because I think the work rate he had to do up top and then drift out wide, and a lot of people have been up against his back. He's had a lot of pressure on him this season. He's been speaking out a little bit louder, more than normal, pissing some fans off, and turns up and shows that he's capable of doing something today. Shows that he's still got a career at West Ham. Like, I'm not trying to get carried away with Mickey Antonio's situation, but I think he's got something to offer us if he's managed well enough that he can that performance down the wing. Like, he'll cause many teams problems down that wing. But like you said, mate, Saka, one of the most informed players in England in international football, in world football, was kept absolutely quiet from one man today, the Czech fullback in Vladimir Soufal. So top performance from him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, that penalty miss, I didn't want Arsenal to win the league. And the fact that we've even been a part of that, I'm not saying they're not going to win the league, but I just didn't like the arrogance of the Arsenal fans, to be perfectly honest, mate. They were like, this is going to be a walkover. And then we've gone and done a performance like that. So hopefully City do us a favour when we play them. Maybe only score 1 or 2 when we play them at the Etihad.
Yeah, no, you're right, mate. You're right. Milesy, mate, thank you very much for joining us, mate. I'll speak to you soon. I appreciate that.
Take care, mate.
Cheers, mate. Right, everyone, that's the end of the review. Maybe we'll be back with a final word later on. Sorry, the kids are coming in here taking over, but we've walked away with a point. That's what we want. That's what we needed. I had the league up there. Let me just bring this up for you one more time before we do go. I'll show you what the Premier League does look like at the bottom there. So, get a victory against Bournemouth, man, with results going our way. That, getting, 34 points. That opens up a huge gap between us and the bottom. That's what we want. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy that. Enjoy match day 2 tonight. We'll be back over the next couple of days, giving you as much of the West Ham content as you want ahead of the Europa Conference League second leg against Ghent. Take it easy. Come on, you irons.